This is another DAM podcast about digital asset management. I'm Henrik de Gier. Today I'm speaking with Jan Delos Santos. How are you involved with digital asset management?
I've been involved with digital asset management for over a decade now. Currently, I'm the digital asset manager for RPA, which is Rubin Poster and Associates. Prior to my stint here, I've worked as the digital asset manager for Saatchi and Saatchi LA for 2 years. And prior to that, I was an art producer / digital asset manager at TBWA Chiat Day for about 8 years. So really much of my experience has really been on the agency side of things. Back in 2003, when I first became involved with DAM, I was just starting out as an art producer and was responsible for commissioning various artists for the different campaigns that came through. The agency needed a way to keep track of these assets that were being produced, especially as the amount of digital files grew. So because I was one of the most tech-savvy members of the team, they pretty much charged me with creating the system. So I worked with our internal IT department at that time to create an in-house solution. I was hired by RPA to revamp the system they currently have and to develop their workflow processes for DAM. Prior to my arrival here, there wasn't anyone devoted solely to digital asset management who understood the particular needs of an advertising agency. The system was basically being used as file storage, the taxonomy was out of date, and there was no overall structure to the system. Since there was no clear ingestion workflow, many of the assets in the DAM were either incorrect or never even made it to the DAM. So that's been my challenge, to leverage the technology already in place, to introduce some best practices, and to broaden the agency's understanding of the benefits of having a DAM. Anytime you're going through this type of DAM revamp, restructure, and expansion, it's never a quick fix. So it's been really important to me through this transition to work nimbly and have flexibility, but at the same time, stick to a well-thought-out roadmap for implementing the new processes, technologies, and operating procedures.
How does an independent advertising agency use digital asset management?
As a creative agency, we're responsible for generating many of the visual assets used. Even though we're an independent agency, we still have to work with a number of different client partners that rely on the assets we create. And because we have so many different teams, clients, or client partners that need these assets, we use DAM to keep track of the product metadata, usage rights, and to distribute those assets across the network. In that way, being at an independent agency is not that different from working at other agencies. We run into similar issues and have similar needs, so standardizing our workflow and getting users to adopt the system is key. Much of my experience has been with various automotive clients, so it's vital that the DAM keeps track of the product information for the vehicles featured in the assets. What's product correct for one model year could change in the next. And depending upon the nature of the marketing, users may need a vehicle with very specific options. So by centralizing and keeping these assets on the DAM, it ensures that users are locating the correct image for their needs. Also, it helps to make the branding consistent across the different media channels, whether it's print, digital, or social media.
Great. And what are the biggest challenges and successes you've seen with digital asset management?
I think that although awareness is growing, I still find that many companies don't understand what digital asset management is and what the benefits are for having a DAM system in place. Or, if they have heard of DAM, they focus all their efforts solely on the technology, when really there's so much more to it than that. You can have the greatest technology in the world, but you still have to adapt it to your needs, especially as they change, and have people behind it to support, maintain, and grow the system. It's not uncommon for a digital asset manager to be hired on to clean up a previous situation. Often those responsible for creating the system don't communicate clearly to all necessary stakeholders involved, so no one utilizes the system either correctly or at all. In one case, I had to cull down the required metadata fields from 140. After meeting with different stakeholders, I quickly realized that none of the users ingesting assets had the time, nor were there as a need for this huge set of data. So I was able to pare it down to the essentials, and I reduced the number to 38. By doing this, it made the process significantly more efficient and made the adoption of this step less of a concern for others. Because I was focused on their needs and valued their input, those stakeholders became more willing to work with me and through me to solve future problems and eliminate future technical roadblocks. So I think that success for me happens as our user adoption grows. I love it when the light bulb clicks on for people when they've worked with their DAM and realize how it can make their work life easier. They're no longer bogged down by spending so much time digging for files, and they can find what they need quickly and can move on to the more important stuff.
Great. Sounds like a great investment. And what advice would you like to share with DAM professionals and people aspiring to become DAM professionals?
As much as the industry is growing, I still think it's a niche area that even some longtime agency veterans aren't super aware of. There's certainly not a lot of information to new prospective candidates unless they have been in this type of role previously. Most digital asset managers don't start out as such and are coming into the field from very diverse disciplines. So I think that it's important for someone aspiring to work in DAM to always be curious. You never know what experiences will help you along the way, so you have to be open to a variety of challenges. It's not just learning about new innovations in technology. You have to be proactive and get to know your users and their needs. Also, never underestimate the value of the human part of DAM. The more you're able to connect with people, the more successful you'll be.
Great. Well, thanks, Jan.
Oh, thanks for having me.
For more on this, visit anotherdam.podcast.com. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to email me at anotherdamblog@gmail.com. Thanks again.